Four features we're going to visualize today behind today's class, actually, which are the classes, concept, syntax, how we are going to utilize them, and for what purposes. We see also the abstraction, encapsulation, and the instantiation, which are actually the very basic features of the OOP that have to be utilized with the class concept. So let's dig in actually immediately without any delay. The first task is asking us to generate a class that has to declare and initialize a profile for a student. The profile is mentioned to us, is measured for us. 3 values we're going to utilize to identify the profile. Let's see in and task 2 or task 3. We have 4 tasks today, and let's dig in. I'm going to just swap my view to the solution, which is actually the cpp.sh. Let me just open it first. I'm sending you the link of this class. I'm sending you the link of this compiler. It's the online actually compiler with the previous classes. Again, I'm sending it to you. No worries. So the first task is asking us to generate a C++ program that actually utilizes a class to declare and initialize the student's, let's say, profile. The student's profile, yes. Good. Initialize here, typo. The main actually would be utilized for calling the class and the instance of the class. So let's dig in immediately. Before the class, as we used to use this space here for declared methods, functions and procedures, we will use it also to create a class. The class actually, it's an object that C++ enhances. To create a class, usually we mention the class name and we precede it with the keyword class. So we're going to see to utilize the class, and I'm going to give it the name std profile. So this is usually defined name. Std profile is the name of the class. I am awarded this name, no space. We respect the nomination rules. The class keyword, it is preceding this name, so this one is a class, and the class is an object. It does not have simple parentheses. It has curly braces to indicate the start and the end. It has a scope. This is the scope of the class, and without normal parentheses, it's not a method. It's not a method. It does not hold. It does not have those simple parentheses. No, this is error. So let's dig in. The profile, as the request has said, actually said that the student has to be identified using an ID, age, and what else? Name, and name also, and name. So name. I'm not going to use whatever. The ID, as per nature, as per our actually university rule, it is 8 numbers. So it's an int. The ID would be actually an int declared. I'm going to declare it as an int. The age, also I'm going to use an int. I'm going to declare it as an int. So it's a number. I'm not going to use a float or decimal or a char. So that is the int. Great. The name actually is a string. So I'm going to declare it as a char, but it's an array here. I'm going to declare it as an array to avoid any issues. Finished. Finish the declaration here. Finish the declaration. Very easy. So I might refer to initialize the 3 of them here straightforward. Equals. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And equals 11. Equals, I'm going to say here Murad. Declared, initialized, I finished. The initialization is given the values. This is the initializations. Those are the initializations of those 3 declared variables. Finished. I created the class and I declared and initialized the profile. All the job done inside this class. What I'm going to do now is the call. Means I'm going to utilize the class inside, because if I run, if I execute, see, nothing would happen, nothing. He's telling me that I have an error here. Main semicolon expected. Did I miss anything? I'm not seeing any. Yes, the class actually with a semicolon here. Yes, exactly. I'm going to execute again at the end. Yes, and now another issue, which is the declaration of this array.
Maybe share name number 54.
Yeah, the size of the array, great, because actually I might utilize that, but as a pointer, not as an empty array. So 5 is the size. No output at all. No output at all. Good. To have the output, or to finalize the use of this class, I'm gonna call it here. I want to call it here. Where? Here, inside the main. The call of a class, listen to me very well, actually it is not similar to the function. So I cannot say std, I cannot copy this name here, paste it here, and to say what, just I cannot do, for example, cout like this, std, and at the end and out. It cannot happen. No, it cannot. Remember, this is not a method. This is not a method. It's not a function nor a procedure. So we cannot call to have a return or to have an output. It does not have a return at all here. What should we do? We have to instantiate. We have to instantiate the instantiation. It is mentioned in our question guide. We have to instantiate this class, and the instance we create from this class object, we are going to utilize to refer to those variables. I repeat, we are going to instantiate this class, then the instance created from this object, we're going to use to refer to those variables. Instantiation, we write the name of the class the same, out of that space, user defined object name, obj. For example, or I'm going to say std, sorry, std. Any user-defined variable name. Any user-defined variable name. Once I declared, I use. So I created an object from the class. So I instantiated the class. I created an object from the class. So I instantiated the class. Good. Now I'm going to use this variable, this object here, sorry, std, the same spelling, to reach those declared variables here, declared and initialized. The std, I'm going to reach the id, dot id, the same spelling. Now I reached the id. What should I do here? They are initialized already. I can do cout now. I can do cout. Great. The same way for the others. Cout, less than, std dot what dot age, the same spelling, capital A. Great. The last one actually. std dot name, less than, it's an ender. Okay, great. I'm done. Let's test. Still, let's test. Still, there is something actually that has to be done. What it says to us is that it is not accessible. What thing is not accessible? The ID is not accessible. The age is not accessible. The name, actually, I do not have name with capital A. It's A small here. The same spelling, I respect. The name is not accessible. Great. So what should I do? What should I do? I have used variables, I have called variables that I know. They have to be read, but the syntax here is correct in the main. I cannot reach those things. Why? Because there is something prohibiting the use of them. The class is blocking this call here. So I have to state that those variables, they're going to be utilized inside the main. How to do so? By giving a permission, by allowing them, by changing the visibility, setting them to be public. I allow everything inside the class to use those variables. How to? By giving permission. The visibility is public now. They are public. Let's execute again and let's see. ID, the age, name. I'm going to change this view here. I'm going to change the syntax here. See? Less than. I'm going to say the student ID number is. The student age is. The student name is. Let's execute. The student ID number is. The student age is. The student name is. Any questions, please? Any questions, please? Great. So I believe that you don't have any questions, so it's clear here. I'm going to pass to the task number 2. It is asking us actually to, let me read the question, create the same context class, program that uses a class to declare a student's profile. The profile is with the same architecture, ID, age, and name, but we're going to initialize 2 students' profiles and display them within the main method. So the initialization and the display has to happen inside the main now for 2 students, not 1 student. So we'll use the same method here. We're going to declare only a student profile here inside the class. And the class task 2 here. This is task 2. And initialize and output in the main. Initialize and output in the main. To do so, ألوف كيف حالك؟
خير مستر.
زين جميل. You are with me. That's great. So
Yes.
what I'm going to do to fulfill the need here, initialization, take off, delete, equal delete, initialization, take off, delete, equal delete, initialization, take off, equal delete. Okay, خلاص. Declaration only inside the class. We come to the main. I'm going to use the same declaration here. I'm going to same instantiation. I created an object, but I cannot bring an output now. See, if I execute, what is this? What is this? Nothing here, nothing there. What are those? I don't know. They are actually addressed in the memory, in the RAM. For now, we have to initialize them in order to get the value output. We have to initialize them, no? So the initialization, I'm going to do it here. How std dot starting with the ID equals whatever I want, 9879875, whatever, any ID. The second, which is the age, age equal, for example, 20. The third, the last, which is the name, std dot name, the same spelling, equals, I'm going to say, whatever, Oman. Great. Anyway, done. Let me execute again. I have a problem here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want to refer to the string actually because I have to declare the string library on top. And I believe that this one does not support the string. Let me just include it. Let's see the problem. Let's understand what is the problem first. Include, string, that's it. And here I'm going to declare as string. I want to avoid the use of arrays. Let's execute. Yes, halas, works very fine. Works very fine. I saw. Great. So the string is recognized by this coding ground. So very fine. It's good by this compiler GCC. So we initialized, and you got the output. The question said for 2 students. The question said the student initialized and output in the main. 2 students, let's say profiles. 2 students. 2 students profiles, not 1. How to do? Shall I do the following? Copy, paste, paste, and execute. I will get the same values. نفسهم.
مستر هذا السؤال الثاني.
Yes, this is the second, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Copy paste, it will give me the same output, the same values. نفس الاسم, نفس ID, the same age. No, we have to have different values. Actually, I'm going to generate not a second profile, but I'm going to generate a second instance to indicate new student. I can do the following. See, I can do it in an easy way, which can give the result, but I don't like. So I'm going to only student 2. I'm going to say 32164 whatever 21. Second ID. Age is 18. Name is Nizwa. Great. Execute. It works fine. It works fine. It works fine. I'm initializing what? A student profile second, but I'm using the same object. I'm using the same object. So it's the same profile, let's say career, something like that. I prefer to generate second to respect the question request. I'm going to just generate second object. What does it mean? std profile. I'm going to say new std. I'm going to say new std, semicolon. So, alas, finished. Shall I test now? No, actually, if I test it, nothing will change because I did not use this object. I created the object, I instantiated this class, and I did not use. I'm going to copy and change this std here with the new std, and this std here with the new std, and this std here with the new std. Then also this std here with the new std, this std here with the new std, and this std here with the new std. Compile. I will have the same output. Nothing changed, no errors. Execute. No changes at all. But this is a new profile, a new object, new instantiation. Any questions? ملاك, any questions, ملاك? عبير, any questions? عبير موجودة ولا غير موجودة؟ جت ولا لا؟ No, not yet. الزهرة.
يا أستاذ
Where were you? أين كنت؟
موجودة كنت، بس المايك كان ما أعرف ما يشتغل معي.
زين. الزهرة, أوكي.
كانت عندي مشكلة في المايك.
أوكي. فاطمة محمد. فاطمة, are you here? No yet. مروة. مي.
مستر مروة هني.
هي ليش ما تتكلم مروة هني؟
ما عارفة، ممكن عند المايك خربان لأنها تكتب في الشات.
والحين يس, هي قالت الحين. يس, أوكي. بحث في الغياب. مروة. تم. I come back. Okay. If I'd like to generate a third student, he actually is after the question now. If I ask you to generate a third profile for a third student, what would you do? Now I'm going to copy C fully, the instantiation, the initialization, and the output. Fully, I'm going to copy. New block, paste, and I'm going to generate new instance. I'm going to say NSTD, for example. NSTD. Come on. NSTD. And then after, I'm going to utilize it here instead, here instead, here instead, here instead, here, and here. Great. So I have a new values completely. I'm going to change the ID context. I'm going to use, for example, 565625. New. The age is 19. Okay, Muscat. Any context. So here, new instance. Here, new instance. New object. Sorry, object name. And this is new instantiation. Let's execute.
مستر هذا الحين السؤال الثاني ولا الثالث؟
لا, still في الثاني. وهذه ضفت قلت if I ask you to generate a third profile, إذا السؤال ما فيه, ولكن if I ask you to generate a third profile or fourth profile or fifth profile, what you will do? You will copy this block and rechange it, adapt it. So you generate a new object and you use the new object to initialize, then to output. It is like that. So because we have three variables now inside the class, we have three variables, yes, inside the class. The ID, the three of them, they have to be re-initialized and brought to output for each student, for every candidate. Student 1, student 2, and student 3. Marwa, any questions, Marwa? No questions. Task number 3. Yes, Tal?
أستاذ ما طلع لي الأوتبوت يقول لي ايرور.
Tell me, share your screen. Share your screen immediately and very quickly.
اوكي.
أستاذ
Yes? Tell me, Nashwa, what's the problem?
أستاذ
Yes, Nashwa. Nashwa.
أستاذ
Yes, Nashwa. نشوة ما واثق الرابط، مستحيل واثق الرابط بكل أكيد بعد.
مستر، الرابط المحاضرة وصل له 20 دقيقة، عشان كده تأخرت ما
الرابط
دخلت.
واثق 3 أو 4 دقائق ما أكثر. ما الكلام غير ممكن.
الرابط ما وصلني على الإيميل، لكن
حذفت لك الغياب، بالنسبة للغياب حذفته. والمرة الماضية ليش غايب أنت؟ هم عندهم اختبار وأنت شو مدخلك؟ نشوة
أستاذ الرابط ما
المرة الماضية هم عندهم اختبار، أنت إيش مدخلك؟ ليش تغيبي؟ أتكلم على الأسبوع الماضي، أتكلم على الأسبوع الماضي. No worries, no worries. We continue. I was saying task number 3. Let's move to task number 3. نشوة حذفت الغياب، خلاص حذفت الغياب تم بالنسبة لليوم، لكن الحصة الماضية why you were absent. Task number 3 is asking us to create C++ program to show the effect of the visibility modes. We have actually 3 modes in the visibility. Mainly they are 3. Public, we saw, and we have another mode which is protected, and the third one which is the private. The program, actually, he's saying that the program has to do the basic mathematical operations, the basic arithmetic operations, which are the addition, subtraction, division, and so on. So let's dig in. Any questions regarding this program here? Regarding this program, any questions, please?
No.
Great. I did it all. Inside the main, we do not have anything, nothing. And the class, I'm going to modify everything. I'm going to just leave the public visibility. I'm going to say actually math operations. I changed the name of the class. I generated a new class. I do not need the string here. It's a new class. And here actually class visibility, visibility demonstration. The task is arithmetic operations. Arithmetic operations. Great. So we have actually in the context, we have 3 basic visibilities. The first one is the public. The second one is protected. They are not in order, but here actually we use them in this context to facilitate private, to facilitate the understanding and the control later on. The first one starts the public, then after starts the protected, and after we use the private. As we saw the example of the public, if I declare any, for example, int a, if I declare any variable in this group, so I use the colon to indicate the start of the block. Then after I use the colon to indicate the start of the block, and so on. Here inside the block public, if I declare an variable, any variable, inside the main I can use. See, I'm going to declare int a. I'm going to here inside the main, I'm going to instantiate the class. The class math operator, because I cannot say cout. See, I cannot see out a and l and l. What is the a? A, this is the one. It's the same. If I execute, no, I cannot. Error. I cannot. We cannot call it. It's outside of the scope. I have to instantiate this class, create an object, and call the a through the object. To do so, instantiate the class. I'm going to say press m obj, any variable user defined. Then through the m obj, I'm going to initialize, give an initial value to A, for example, 5, any value. Then through the M obj the same, I bring the output of this A. Bring this A to an output 5. Very easy. Very easy. Okay, that's great. So it's public. Let's move to the protected mode. Let's declare an int b. And let's do the same process with the int b. Here inside, I'm going to instantiate, I'm going to instantiate the class. So I'm going to create mobj2. This mobj2, I'm going to use it to refer to the b, not the a. And I'm going to give it a value, for example, 10, since it's an int. It's an int. And then after I'm going to bring the output, see out, mobj2 dot b less than, it's an endl. Great. So خلاص. Good. Let's execute. Now we have new block. It's the same syntax, and let's see the output. Protected, huh? The b is protected. Now you cannot touch. The mobj2 you cannot touch. Not for the initialization, not for the for the call, for the output. See out. Protected. What does it mean? It means the protected does not give external members, which is the main here, to use the variable from outside of the class. I repeat, the protected mode, protected, are not allowed to be used outside of the scope. No, we cannot.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes, tell.
24. I think you're wrong.
24. This is 24. Wrong in what?
MBG2. Four
Well, absolutely true. You are right. MOBG, the object name. Absolutely. Thank you for the notes. I'm going to execute, even though the MOBJ cannot lead us to reach C, the B only. We cannot reach it. Protected, no, you cannot reach. The definition says that the protected things that they are to be utilized from internal members only. And the internal, they have to be actually inheriting, something like that. The private exactly from the internal scope, protected from the scope itself or the inheriting components. Inheriting, we'll see the inheritance in future times. If I change this protected to public, see, I change the protected to public only here. I'm going to execute again. 5, 10. What is the 10? It's from the B. There is no problem at all. Let's move to the private. Let's move to the private now. If I declare another variable inside the private, int, let's say C, full stop. I'm going to create a new, I'm going to instantiate a new object from the class. I'm going to say mobj3. Here I'm going to use this mobj3, sorry, first of all, to reach the C. I need the C in this case. And I'm going to bring the C in output through the obj3 C. And the C, I'm going to give it a different value here. I'm going to say, for example, 5,000. Execute. Error. C, 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 and C here also. We cannot reach. That.
Delete.
Delete what? Delete what?
Write public.
Absolutely. The reason here is the visibility. Absolutely, you are right. Very good. The reason is the visibility. So private does not also allow us. الجملة هذه you have to memorize it clearly and literally. Private does not allow us to reach private members from external scope. from outside of the scope. Cannot. So the scope ends here. Outside of this limit, you cannot call this thing. You have to use internal members. We'll use it now. You have to use internal members to call this object, and the internal members, you use them outside of the scope. First of all, to correct this problem now, according to our skills, what we saw so far, we change this private to public. الحل الأول, the first solution. Because of what we learned so far, we change the private to public. It works very fine. 5, 10, 5,000. 5,000 from what? From the C. Very clear. Very clear. This is the output. Yes, we are managing the visibilities. Let's come back actually, because the protected needs from us to learn the inheritance. I'm not explaining this class. Future times. I'm going to return back to the private. I'm returning to use the private. No, C. No, we cannot. Inside the same class, I'm going to fix the problem differently now. I'm not changing this one to public. I'm leaving it to be private. Inside the same class, I'm going to declare a procedure. Let's say void init C. Okay. Or init PRV private. It starts here and here. I'm declaring a procedure that initializes the private members. What private member we have is the C. So I'm going to say C equals. I'm going to use a parameter. I'm going to use a parameter to make it easy. Int X, and here C equals X. Then C out. C out. The value of C is less than C simply. Then and shall I write and LC, or shall I write something different? C straightforward, or shall I write obj.c? What should I write here? Only C, because we do not have. We are inside the class. We are inside the class, so we do not instantiate or create an object. Straightforward, we call the variable name. Yes, great, I did it. So I call the variable, which is private inside the class, and this method I have to declare it as public. Public. Then inside the main, what should I do? I have to call not the C, and don't declare a new C or new initialization to the C. I'm going to use the MOBJ3 to call. So come on. To call what? The public procedure. Publicly set procedure. We call them only. That's it. Because it has C out here inside. So this C out will be executed. So this is for the C. Let's execute. This is solution number 2, not number 1. Let me check what's the problem here. Let me check what's the problem here. Hold on. Give me a second. Actually, I'm going to reply a call. It's an important from the Chancellor office.
Same number 15.
Line number 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, private. What's the problem with the line number 15?
Write private.
Yeah, it is private. We have to use a private. No. No, actually, we use the private here because we need to use the C locally inside the class. and then after we check. There have to be another issue. Let me check it, please, first. He's saying in function main error, we cannot call this operations no match in function. You need PRV. You need PRV. One upon copy paste.
Line 28.
Line 28. No, the error here actually it isn't لا علاقة. It does not have any relationship. There is no problem here. He's saying clearly obj3. The problem is in obj3. Here void math init PRV int void init. Yes, absolutely, very easy, very easy, very easy. We have actually a parameterized method. We are declaring it with parameter, and we are calling it here without parameter. This is an error. We cannot. So we have to pass an error. We have to pass a parameter here. What should I write here? What is the type of the parameter I'm going to pass here? The data type.
Int.
Absolutely. I'm going to say, for example, 5,000. Whatever. Let me execute again. Very good. 5. Here it is. 10. Here it is. The value of C is 5,000. The value of C is 5,000. Any questions, please? We used a private variable outside of the scope using a public method, which is a public procedure, which is a procedure. Do you have a look, please? Have a look, and if you have any questions, ask me. Have a look, and if you have any questions, ask me. No questions. Great. Immediately, I'm gonna pass to answer the question clearly, because he's asking us to do the arithmetic operations. No, the task has to do the arithmetic operations. So I'm gonna do the thing actually in two ways. I'm gonna do it here. I'm gonna say a, then let's say let's use different variables. Z, P. Okay. Then I'm gonna use the obj to initialize the a and the b. Sorry, not the b, the z. I'm going to initialize the a and the z. The z that it be, for example, 2. Okay. Then the t would receive the sum and the addition, the sum, addition, and the division, and the subtraction, and the multiplication of those two numbers. So I'm going to say t obj.t receives what? Receives obj a plus obj z. See out immediately. See out. The sum of a and let's say z is less than not t, less than, and great. I'm going to do the thing actually, copy paste, minus. So here I'm going to pass the here actually is the subtraction of a and z, or of z from a, Here I'm going to utilize z from a is obj.t. Clear. Let's pass to the multiplication. The multiplication of a, let's say by z is dot t. The division, the last one, the division A by Z, also by Z is, we finished. Let me just try. Sum of A and Z, 7. 2 plus 5, 7, true. Subtraction, Z from A is 3. 2 from 5, absolutely true, correct. Multiplication, 2 by 5, 10, that's correct. Division, 5 by 2, they are ints. There is no fraction, so it's 2. That's true, correct, absolutely true. It works very fine. The others, the output, they are still there. Here. The other things, we did not modify. 5, 10, and the value of C. Let's declare them in the private section now. So let's declare other variables here. We have C, and I'm going to say N or P, let's say P and Q, whatever, any other variables. I'm going to initialize them also. I'm going to change this init PRV to have 3 parameters, X, Y, S, whatever, any variables. C would receive the X. I'm going to say P would, come on. P would receive the Y. Come on. And the Q. Q would receive the S, done. The value of C is the value of P is P. The value of Q is Q. Execute. I have an error. That's great. Why? Because we have 3 parameters here, and I have declared them as int also. Int. As int. And we have to call the same procedure. It has 3 parameters, not 1, 3. We have 3 parameters. So we call with 3 values. They are all int. I'm going to say 10, and I'm going to say 150. Any number, any int. Yes, the value of C is 5,000. The value of P is 10. The value of Q is 150. Absolutely working very fine. Yes, now let's do the arithmetic operations using those private variables. I'm going to do the process here. I cannot do the process in the main. I cannot do the calculation inside the main. No. Why? Because they are private. I can use you can use those private variables only inside the same scope. So here inside the init priv only. What I'm going to do, the sum, I'm going to change those tricks here. I'm going to change it completely. The sum of X and Y, for example, X and Y is, there's no X and Y. We have C and P, CPQ. Sorry. C and P is Q. But in the constraint of that, I'm going to type here Q receives C plus P, for example. The division of C by P is Q. I'm going to change it here. I'm going to do it here. See where I'm doing it. Q equals C divided by P. See where I'm going to do the multiplication. Multiplication of C also by P is, see where I'm going to do it. here, in between the couts, not before, not after. It has to be there, otherwise it will give you an empty value. C multiplied by P, semicolon. The last one, which is actually the sum division, the subtraction. The subtraction of, let's say, P from C is less than Q. Sorry, Q less than is cylinder. Here, I'm going to do the subtraction. Q receives C minus P. Semicolon. Done. Let me execute. Sum of C and P, 5010. From where? 5000 plus 10. 5010. The division here is typo. The division of C by P is 10. C by P. What is the C? C is X and Y. No, it's Q here, not P. It should be Q here. Q. Error. Q. The result is Q. Wrong. Good. The division of C, 500, absolutely correct. 5,000 divided by 10, 500. 5,000 divided by 10 is 500, correct. Multiplication, C by P, 5,000 multiplied by 10 is 50,000. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. The subtraction of what? P from C, 4990, absolutely true. 4,990, absolutely true. 10 from, we deduct 10 from 5,000 is 4,990. Using what? Private elements. Any questions, please?
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes, tell me.
What's different between the public and the private?
This is what I said. This is what I was saying. The public, I can use it anywhere. I can call it here. I can call it inside the main. I can call it inside other functions outside of the class. This is the public. Here, after, what is this A? What is this A? It is this A. What I'm declaring here in public inside the class. But see those three C, P, Q. They are private. Did I use them inside the main? No, never. There is no C, no P, no Q here. No, at all. Completely. I cannot. It give me an error. Give me an error. If I change this one with C, it will immediately tell me an error here. Tell me an error. Yes, error. C. Cannot use C. It's private. It's private. So I return it to be A. Private member, sorry, they can be utilized inside the same scope. Remember, inside the same scope only. Outside, you cannot. You can use only the public. Only the public. Is it clear? Private members, I can use them inside the same block. This is the scope. Private. I can use them here inside because this is inside, because this init PRV, it is a member from the same class. So we can use inside here the C, P, and Q. And this init private is public, so I can utilize it outside. I can call it outside. Here it is. Any questions, please?
No, thanks.
That's good. That's great. Okay. I'll stop at this level and I'm gonna share with you immediately the video. Actually, I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna start